Welcome back to the channel. Well, as you can see, some of our plantings are starting to take off quite nicely. We thought we'd give you a little bit of a show around today, see what we've been up to. So you can see my old tomato bushes are really starting to take root and take off. They're going really nice. We've got our zucchinis absolutely running amok at the moment. As a matter of fact, we're going to pick some more zucchinis today, because if we don't, we're going to end up with ridiculously large zucchinis. And what we're going to do is we're getting a bit of glut on the zucchinis at the moment. So tomorrow we're going to make some of my zucchini pickle that I made last year for the first time out of our zucchini beds, and everybody loved it. So if you look down in here, you see what I'm talking about. Look at these beautiful zucchinis. Normally they just twist off. There we go. Look at that. Hey, beautiful, blemish free, bang on the money. Beautiful fruit. What else we got in here, Cal? Let's have a gander. Get down in there a little bit more. No, not seeing anything there. Yeah, look at this one. Bloody Nora. Another beauty. Look at that. Beautiful zucchinis. So I do these in a pickling brine. For those of you that don't remember, I am a chef by trade, but I like to preserve things. Oh, look, here's another one. It's a little bit small. I might let him go another couple of days, but literally that in 2 days will be the size of those ones. It's crazy. Yeah, and we've got some other ones down the bottom there and the bottom there. Beautiful, look at them. Stunner. Oh, here we go. Hang on. Here's some more over this side of the world. Wow, I think we're going to be doing some pickles for the next few weekends, mate.
Yeah.
Look at that one. That's not quite ready. We'll let that go a little while longer. But you can see, look at this beautiful fruit getting ready to come along here. Yeah.
And don't be surprised, they grow really fast.
Oh yeah, real quick indeed. So hopefully our microphones are working a bit better today. The last show we made was a little bit quiet. Yeah, I don't know. We don't know to this day what happened there. But strawberries, well, I'll tell you what, bloody strawberries. We put them in, they went gangbusters, then the bugs ate them.
Again.
Then the bugs ate them, and eventually the bugs ate the original ones until they were dead. And these are the second lot. They got a bit of transplant shock. They got a bit of bug shock. They seem to be coming back around now. I cut a lot of the dead stuff off a couple of weekends ago. They do look a lot better than they did a couple of weeks ago. So I don't know. We're not having much joy with strawberries at all. But anyway, we'll keep persisting. So since you last saw us, we've been doing some new plantings. So if you see down here, we've got some lettuces. And again, what I did was I bought punnets of these and put them into 100mm pots, trying to grow some root structure to them. We've lost one, and that was probably the weakest plant of the lot. But anyway, these other ones, look, you know, it's Australia, it's summer, and it's bloody hot. If we have a look in the beds here, you'll see that the beds are moist enough. But it's a combination of transplant shock and, you know, I had them on the front deck and there was a lot of shade up there, so taking them straight out into the full sun, you know, without much sun hardening, it's a bit hard on them. But look, we'll just keep persisting, see how we go. This bed here, we're getting ready for our cucumbers. I've got some cucumber seedlings that I've got into 100mm pots at the moment, trying to grow them out, so we're not doing much with that bed. We've got the capsicums. Actually, looking at those, looks like they need a bit of water. How's that water gauge looking on the side there, mate?
That is empty.
Is it empty? Wow, look at that. Let's have a little bit of a deep dive down on the soil here. Yeah, I think what we might do is give them a little bit of water on the top, and then fill the tank up, eh?
Yeah.
So that's a fortnight. They've drunk that dry. That's pretty impressive.
For small plants like that, anyway.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I'm a little bit cautious. I want to be a little bit cautious with the capsicums because last year I don't think they dealt with these beds so well. I think they were getting too much water. The leaves are looking a little bit the same again as they did last year. See how they're looking a little deformed? Until the plants get bigger, you get a little bit of this from, I think, too much water. But anyway, I don't know what to do. You can't run them dry. Like I say, the soil is moist, but they're wilting, so they need something. Anyway, we'll work that out after. But anyway, this is the only problem trying to grow garden beds in this country. As you can see, it's dry, really dry. Had no rains. I don't know if we're going to get any summer rain this year. We've got El Nino conditions. Here we go. So planted some basil into this one.
And some oregano.
Chives are going crazy. Yeah, it's a bit of oregano. It's not doing so well, but it's still alive. That's not a bad thing. What's the water table looking like on this one? It's pretty moist. Again, you know, it's a fine line, isn't it? Right. So we grew these plants up in the 100mm pots as well, in the hope of developing a bit of a stronger root system. Yeah, I think there's still plenty of water in there. Anyway, so you can see, you know, we're still doing our thing. It's a bit slow, but come on over, have a look at these tomatoes.
And this bed right there is going to be a corn bed.
That's going to be a corn bed, yeah. I've got the corn in 100mm pots as well at the moment, so pretty soon that'll be ready to go. We'll have all the beds under production again. I think I'm going to get some more lettuces into this bed, but we'll see how we go with these little beauties. I've got, we actually did a window box on the deck with some cos lettuce in there. They're coming up ready to eat now as well. So yeah, they're looking pretty good. But come and have a look at these. Unreal. There's a bit of a mixture of these, some Roma tomatoes here. Look at this beautiful fruit coming along. Absolutely stunning. Got none ripe yet, but there's plenty of them. Look at these. Beautiful, beautiful fruits coming along. This one's I bought this one from Bunnings. It's supposed to be a heritage style of tomato, but I don't know what sort of tomato it is. Oh, that's a Roma tomato. So these Romas are out of control.
This one's
there was some, I probably need to tie this one up again, but well, here we go, Carl. Here they are. There's some little tomatoes down here. So, like I say, I don't know what kind they are. They're some sort of heritage. We'll give them a crack, see how they go. But some of these, look at these, Carl. Eh? Wow, look at these. Beautiful tomatoes. Really coming on nice.
And there's a lot more at the back. These look more like cherry tomatoes.
Yeah, there are. Oh, hang on a minute. Look at that. That's a decent sized tomato. So anyway, look, we'll just keep letting them grow. What I did with these is I took a lot of the foliage off them. I just kept on lopping the leaves, all these sort of branches off. And that seemed to really kick them off. Made them go absolutely crazy. And plus you could see some of the fruit. So I might go through and do a bit of a trim again, just to keep them under control a little bit. But yeah, you sort of lose track of where the fruit is and which plant's which. I've got 6 plants in this bed, and as you can see, they're going apeshit, absolutely going crazy. But we're getting some beautiful fruit this year. We don't seem to have any of the bug issues that we had last year. They're beautiful, strong plants. So yeah, I think we're going to get some great tomatoes this year. Last year we bummed out on the tomatoes. Did not have a great time with them at all. I grew from seed. I even tried some seedlings. We did not succeed on that front. And what I need to do is put a big shade house over this whole area. Just with 50% shade cloth. Nothing to shade out the sun totally, but just enough just to take a little bit of the pressure off, particularly the young plants here. I mean, all these have been in for months, 2 months in these beds, the zucchinis and the tomatoes, so they've had a good chance with some mild weather to establish. But these other poor buggers, yeah, they take a bit more to get right. But anyway, that's what we're up to. As you can see, another few weeks and hopefully we start seeing some capsicum trees coming along, and we start getting some lettuces out, and the basil and that starts coming along, and we get some more zucchinis that we'll just keep pickling. So we'll take them inside. I think we've got about 6 now, so we might wait till tomorrow, see if those other zucchinis ripen up a bit more. We'll pick them as well, and we'll chuck them all in. We'll show you how to make well, family famous, at least not world famous yet, but family famous zucchini pickle. All right guys, so I'll see you in the kitchen.
The next day.
Welcome to the kitchen. First time on the series. Second time. What did we do last time?
Cauliflower pizza.
That we did as well. All right, well, we're going to make zucchini pickles today. Pretty straightforward. Zucchinis. All of these zucchinis we picked out of our zucchini patch in the last week to 10 days. We've just been keeping some in the fridge waiting to get a bit of a glut on. We have eaten some, but you know, when you start to get kilos and kilos, you can't just eat it all, right? So anyway, so today we're going to show you one of my pickled products that I'd like to do. This is really tasty, summertime ham. Chuck it in a ham sandwich, have it on some bread. I like to put a bit of pesto on the bread, put some pickle on top, bit of cheese, stick it under the grill, whammo. Lots of uses for it, very straightforward. So basically it's zucchinis, onions, white vinegar, sugar, celery seeds, turmeric. I like to put a bay leaf in. The recipe doesn't call for it, but I just put one, and some yellow mustard seed. And then I bought some jars yesterday from our local Red Dot store in Australia. That's like a $2 store to everyone else around the world. Obviously 6 jars wasn't $2, but got those for $15 for per 6-pack. So I thought that was a pretty good deal. All right, so the recipe calls for a kilo of zucchinis. Let's weigh up what we got. We can work out how much we're going to make. So just quickly, I'm going to top and tail these off. And we'll see how many cucumbers we've got here.
Zucchinis.
Even better, zucchinis. All right, 2.5 kilos. So we'll do 2.5 times the recipe. I reckon that's pretty cool. All right. So we'll get rid of these offcuts. Just into my pantry bin. So the first thing we've got to do is slice up the zucchinis and the onions, and we need to salt them down and let them sit for 2 hours before we can start doing anything else. So 2.5 times the recipe. A normal recipe with a kilo of zucchini. I'll get Carl to put this up on the screen as we talk through it. To a kilo of zucchini, you use 2 onions. So we're going to do 2.5 times the recipes. That means we need 5 onions, right? Sound fair? Okay, and then the spice mix we'll put together once I get all this sliced. So bear with, and we'll get this done and stack it up in the salt it and stack it up in the pot ready to go. You know, prepare your jars. So it's pretty simple with the jars, right? I've just bought them from the store yesterday. I'm just going to rinse them out. I don't get too carried away. I'm going to put the oven on 100 degrees Celsius, about 200 Fahrenheit, and just sit them in there for about 15-20 minutes, and that sterilizes them. So you can do that, you know, just toward the end of your zucchinis and onions having a soak in the brine. So, you know, you can just time it out that way. All right, now, as you can see, I don't know, Carl, if you want to come in and have a bit of a closer look at this. This is a 10-litre pot, and that's pretty full. So you get a lot of bulk out of this stuff, right? Cool, thanks, mate. Let's get you to pop me back in the stand there. So you can see from 2.5 kilos of zucchini, we're going to get quite a few jars. All right, great. Okay, so let me check my recipe. 2 tablespoons of salt. Better get my tablespoon measure out. There he is. So 2 tablespoons for 1 kilo of zucchini. So 5 tablespoons for 2.5. 1, 2, 3, 4,
Bono.
and 1 makes 5. There we go. Easy. Rightio. We'll just mix this through now and let it sit for 2 hours. What's the time, Carl?
11:40.
11:40. So I suppose we'll see you back here. Well,
At the time of filming this video.
we'll see you back here this afternoon. But anyway, let's just hold on for 5 minutes. And we'll set that aside. I'm going to pass over my phone, please, Jim. And we'll set an alarm for 2 hours' time, and then we can set up for the... All right, just pop that on the stove. It's not on any heat or anything. It's just going to sit there. We'll bang the lid on it. Yeah, handle's getting loose. There we go. They can just sit there for 2 hours. And my phone is right here. And we'll quickly set an alarm. 11:41, 1:41, 1:41. There we go. Well, we better make it PM, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be a problem. Sweet as. Right, set. Chuck that away. We don't need the scales anymore. Job done. I like to tidy up as I go. Keep things nice and easy. Nice and fresh. Rightio. So we'll quickly do up the pickling liquor while we're waiting. Now I like to use a stainless steel pot for this because it's pretty acidic. It's got, vinegar and salt and all sorts of stuff in it. So a little bit of that. I'll quickly grab that out of here. Okay. So we need 1 cup of vinegar. So 2.5 times the recipe, 2.5 cups of vinegar, right? Actually, before we do that, I think we'll do the sugar first, right? So 1.5 cups of sugar for 1 kilo. So 2.5 times is 3 plus 0.75. So just under 4 cups. Thought we'd do the sugar before we put the vinegar in the cup, eh? That wouldn't be a good look, would it? Oh, I'll do a half. Oh yeah, Perla. Rightio. Now, what do we say? 2.5 cups of vinegar, right? Yep. A little bit extra. Not going to get too hung up on it, are we? Okay, now what do we got? So we've got the vinegar, we've got the sugar, 2 teaspoons of yellow mustard seed. Oh, where's my teaspoon? I reckon we'll just give them a tablespoon. How's that?
2 times the recipe.
Yeah. Well, if it's 2 cups, that's 5 grams. That's 20 grams. I reckon that's pretty close to one of these. What do you reckon?
Yeah.
Remember the last time we put like tablespoons instead of teaspoons. It got a little hectic. Anyway, that's all good. So there's that one. And what I'll do is I'll pour that into this jar before I go spilling yellow mustard seeds everywhere. Anyway, back to what we were doing. So we've done 2.5 times 2 teaspoons of yellow mustard seed, which we worked out was around about a tablespoon. 2 times 1 teaspoon of salt. So we need 2 teaspoons of salt. So that's about half of one of these. See, I'm a chef, mate. We just make it up as we go along. Oh, here she is, my lovely wife, putting her soap in the fridge. She likes to keep her soap cool. She's a bit weird. Okay, celery seeds. 1 teaspoon. Again, I reckon we'll go for, well, it'll be 2.5 teaspoons, so a little over half a tablespoon. Turmeric. Again, what have we got? 1 teaspoon, so we'll go for about half of one of these. And turmeric's lovely in this. It gives it that colour, that mustard pickle colour. Can't go wrong. And all I do is just 1 little bay leaf. Just the one. In this case, half of one. There we go. Job done. And that's our pickling liqueur. It's that easy, folks. You know, a lot of people get scared when I start talking about making pickles or canning, and you know, it's not a difficult thing to do. I've been doing it for a long time. I use my stock pot. I make up an alfoil base for the bottom, so we don't put the jars in when we're doing our sealing, our pickling, our canning. I've never used a pressure canner in my life. I just use a water bath. I've got product sitting on the shelf now for 2 years. Open it up, it's perfectly a-okay. All right, so what we'll do is I'm going to put this on a very slow fire while our zucchinis are having a soak, and we'll come back to you after 2.5 hours. All right, cheers.
2,000 years later.
G'day everyone, welcome back. Well, what's been 2 hours for us has been about a second and a bit for you, so welcome back. While our onions and zucchinis have been doing their salt soaking scenario, I've rinsed out some of these new jars that I got yesterday. Just set them on top of a clean tea towel. We're going to drain off. I'm going to show you these zucchinis and onions. We've got our brining liquor ready to go. That's heating up now as well. So I'll get you to come over here, Carl, and show everyone what this looks like now. So this has dropped down by about, I don't know, a third the volume. And if you have a look down in here, you'll see why. All the water that's come out of these zucchinis and the onions because of the salt. They're nice and soft now as well, right? Remember before the onions would have snapped quite easily. Now they can bend, and that's really good. Yep, so what we're going to do now is we're going to rinse this salt off, give it a good drain. And going to chuck it back in this pot, and then we're going to chuck our brining solution in and bring it up to heat for about 5 minutes, and then we're going to let it soak for a couple of hours, and that'll be stage 2. All right, so just hang in there with me. I'll get some of these draining and washed out. Bear with me. And look, it might seem like a bit of mucking around, a bit being a bit fiddly in that, but I'll tell you, it's worth it. It's really nice, you know. You can give these jars away to your family and friends and your loved ones for their birthdays and Christmas or whatever special events are coming up, you know. It's a beautiful thing to give someone a handmade product, you know. It's really thoughtful. Now you can dress them up beautifully. I mean, these jars are cheap. These jars are worth about $2 a pop. And they're lovely little embossed jars, you know. They've got little citrus fruits on them and grapes. And look, you can get multiple uses out of these jars. You know, not a big deal at all. It's great fun. It's good fun to do this. Good to show your kids, you know, where their food comes from and then how you can preserve it when you've got too much. And like I say, we had some zucchini in our dinner last night. So we haven't just saved all the zucchinis for this. I took one down to my mum's place last week. I stay in Perth during the week when I'm at the office, and I'll stay at mum's, and that's a good way to share. I'll let that have a drain for about 5 minutes. So yeah, it's good fun. Like I say, these eggplants we're just discussing today. I'm going to make them into a nice Greek salad for our Christmas dinner next week. Yeah, so we'll make a Greek salad with some some red onions and some capsicums and feta cheese and olives and cucumbers and tomatoes, and just throw some of those in as well. It'll be beautiful. All this oil it's got full of garlic and herbs. We can use that as part of the dressing. We can utilise everything we grow. All right. So I'd like to have a try of these. Just a little bit of a try, make sure that we've got all that salt out. Yep, that's good. I'm going to put them into this bowl for a minute because I've got to empty out the rest of that. I might just give this half a bit of an extra rinse. Here we go. All right, we'll get the rest of that pot in here. And we'll rinse that pot out, get all that salt out of there. Then we'll show you the next part. We're going to get a couple of uses out of this pot today, because this will be the pot we use as well when we're ready to seal our cans up, seal our jars up. And that's easy as well. There's nothing hard about this. You break it all down into tiny little pieces and little bits, and it's all good. Then last year, what did I make last year? I made some almond pesto. We had a heap of basil coming out of the garden. And so I went and bought some bags of almonds instead of pine nuts, because pine nuts are bloody expensive, right? So got the almonds, put the basil, put the Parmesan cheese, put the olive oil, bit of salt and pepper. Voila, pesto, shared that out amongst the family. They loved it. Mother raved about it.
We also made cauliflower pickle.
We did, indeed. That's been, we haven't tried that one yet.
Yeah, it's been in the pantry for a while now.
Been in the pantry for about 6 months. I reckon it should be bloody beautiful. That was out of collies we grew it out of the garden this year during the winter time. I'm going to shake that out a little bit. Don't worry if there's a little bit of water in there. Now, you're not going to, don't want it to be dry. You know what I mean? Give it another little shake and a bounce through the colander. Yeah, that's fine. All right. Let's get it in there. No mucking around. Righto. Let's quickly rinse this gear off. Clean as you go, guys. That's what we say. That way the wife doesn't pack the shits at me as well. Nice one. All right, so there we go. We've got our zucchini and our onions. All right, we've had this pickling liquor on nice and low. You can see the steam coming off it there. We're going to pour that into our zucchini and onions. Just like that. Dump that in the sink. Some water rinsing into there. We're going to chuck this on the back of the stove. Flat out. Where is it? Ah, wrong one. There we go. Now, I'm going to very quickly heat this through. Bring it up to the heat as quickly as we can. Pop the lid on. Now we want to bring that up to heat fairly quickly. We can do it fairly quickly on that particular burner because that's our biggest one. So what we're going to do is we'll bring that basically to the boil, turn it down, give it 5 minutes on the simmer, then we'll turn it off, and that's got to sit for 2 hours. We'll reset the alarm for 2 hours, and we'll come back and see you then. All right, no worries. And by then, I'll have these jars in the oven, and we'll be just about ready to jar up. All right, see you then. Well, g'day everyone, back again. Powers of television. That 2 hours took about 10 seconds in your world. Had a bit of a development this afternoon. My oven's packed up. So it's been a bit tricky. We found out when I put my jars into sterilise at 100 degrees. And so it's a little bit later in the day than we had anticipated coming back to you. But anyway.
4:21 at filming time right now.
Yeah, I know. It's not great. So I boiled me jars. Don't know what else to do with that. We'll give it a crack. We're going to put them in a hot water bath anyway. And we're going to boil them up for at least an hour anyway, just to vacuum seal them. So I think by the time we do that, what we'll also do with the jars is fill them right up to the top. That'll take a lot of the air away. So there'll be no air in there. As long as we can get all that air out, we'll be sweet as. All right, well, bear with me a couple of minutes and we'll start getting these jars out. See how we go. All right. Without breaking them, hopefully. There we go. I've also got the pickles heating up, and that'll help us. It'll be hot product into hot jars, and that'll help a lot. We'll see how we go. And now, a week out from Christmas, I'll be buying a new oven. Great. And hopefully we can do this in 6 jars. Because if not, we're going to be boiling some more jars. How about we start with that? I think it's probably a good starting point. There we go. They're pretty bloody hot anyway. Look at those.
You probably can't see the steam in the video, but
I think they're probably 100 degrees. They're pretty warm. I'm going to take these ones out of here too, I reckon. The main thing I don't want to do is break the jars. I've got them sitting in these pots, sitting on the metallic bottom. I'm surprised they didn't crack. Anyway, I think that's about as good as we're going to get with that. Okay. Right, so there's 6 jars. See how we go. Right, now I'll put this mix back on, put the pickles back on for a boil. Turn all the ovens off, stoves off. Ooh, yeah, that's warm. Eh? Yeah, it's a bit warm. Lost me asbestos hands. Haven't cooked commercially in quite a few years now. I've been more in the management world. So anyway, here we go. Let's give it a crack. This is the fun bit. Loading the zucchinis up in there. We'll do a little less at a time. This is where it gets a little messy, but it's also, yeah, it's still fun. Yeah. I think we're going to need more than 6 jars, just quietly. Anyway, we'll see how we go. Might be boiling up some more jars. Yeah, a bit spewy about the oven though. That's a bit of a bummer. Didn't really want to spend a couple of grand on a new oven. It's close to Chrissy. Anyway, typical. Always happens just when I've got a few bob going in the bank, you know what I mean? Typical. Hot, hot. And another one. Shake them in there. Load them in there. Throw them as you can. Full as you can get them. So you can see you got a nice little colour out of the turmeric. And by the time I get to the other end of these, I'll be bang on. Normally, I like to leave them in the jar for about 6 weeks after we seal the jars up. Seems to be about a good time to let them mature up a little bit. There we go, try and get a few more extra bits and bobs in there. Try and fill them right up to the top. Got very little air gap in them then. Still don't think we're going to get there with 6 jars, unfortunately. That's okay. We'll see how we go. I think we'll take that bay leaf out. Pardon me. You can see out of that 2.5 kilos of raw zucchinis, we get quite a few jars. Now remember, these are 500 gram jars, so they're not the smallest jars that I've got for sure. Certainly not the biggest, but for sure not the smallest. I'll just keep going on these. Got my daughter in the background. What are you doing, Lily? Hey? Hey?
Cookies.
Hey? Cookies. Ah, Christmas cookies. We're trying to shoot a show here, mate. What are you doing? Hey?
It's a party show now.
Hey?
It's a party show now.
All right. Well, why don't you give us 10 minutes and then you can come back with your cookies. How's that sound? Hey? Fair? Sound fair?
Yeah.
Good on you, mate. All right. Well, see you in about 10 minutes. Well, we're going to go close. Hooly dooly. Have a go of that, would you? I don't think we'd get one of these big jars. I might have to... Whoa! That was a bit noisy, wasn't it? Ding, ding. Round 2. Might have to get one of those smaller jars out, eh? Bloody no, that was loud. Hey? There we go. I'm just going to fill these jars up with some of the pickling liquor. Look at that, all the way to the top, as close to the top as we can get it. Ooh, that's bloody hot. What are you laughing at, mate? Hey, ding ding round 2. That tickle your fancy, did it? Hey? Oh, Jesus. Getting a bit savage here, getting a bit crazy here. Stick the finger in there, she'll be right. Oh, boy. They're bloody hot, eh? I think what we need to do is get a wee knife, stick it down the sides there and try and release those air bubbles a little bit and stuck in those top corners. There we go. See, a little bit of technique for you kids. All right. Let's get some more of this liquor into these jars, shall we? This bit gets a bit messy sometimes, folks. It is what it is, right? Sometimes cooking gets messy. I keep it clean. Go back around. I'll tell you what I'm going to do, young Carl.
Yeah.
I think what I'll do is bang one of those 500ml jars that I had in here. Here we go. One I prepared earlier. I might bang that in this pot. And turn it back on for 5 minutes and heat him through, and I reckon that'll get us through the end of it. All right. So I reckon all of those, we'll go around and we'll poke those corners and make sure we've got the air bubbles coming out. I've never used these square jars before, so learning curve for me, but anyway, we'll work on getting all those air bubbles out of the corners. I mean, look, they'll probably get sucked out during the canning process anyway, right? But we can get as much air out as possible because, you know, I've boiled these. It's not the way I normally like to do it. I normally like to whack them in the oven, but trust me, they're plenty hot enough. Now you might see me touching the jars thinking, oh yeah, they're not hot. Yeah, they're pretty bloody hot. Yeah. Like I say, chef by trade. Asbestos hands. So I bought 18 of these jars yesterday. Looks like we're going to fill 6 of them. But at 500 grams per jar, it's probably about right. Righto. Well, I'll show you what we'll do next. Have a bit of a... So I might just wash my hands quickly. Getting a little bit sticky with that liquor. There we go. Got me Jamie Oliver apron on today, guys. Not a big fan of Jamie, but a friend of mine's missus bought me this, and I thought I'd better wear it because it looks pretty sweet. Blue with a pink pinstripe. I reckon that's all right. Right now, what are we doing? We're going to do the next part while we're waiting for this thing to finish. We are going to make a base for the bottom of this pot. Now people say, well, why don't you go out and buy a bloody round cake rack? Yeah, well, you know, could do that, but you just get a bit of alfoil, eh? Why not? That's the same job. I'm not about spending money if I can help it. I'm a bit of a Scottish Jew, I reckon. Certainly a lot of Scottish blood in the family. So we're making this up just to sit the jars on in the bottom of the pot so it doesn't have contact with the bottom of the pot and we don't start cracking the jars. That's what that's all about. Anyway. There we go. And we'll just keep going round and round. And look, if you guys want to go out and buy proper jamming pots and... I went to Kmart for this. This pot cost me $12. You know, if you want to go spend $150 on a jamming pot, you guys go for it. But I reckon this will do me just fine. I've got a little stainless steel pot there. I can make, 3 litres of jam in there anytime I like. That pot cost me $8 at Kmart. Hey. Why go spend the money? No, not necessary. All right, well, I'll tell you what, we're just gonna dodge this. I reckon we're just gonna dodge it up. I reckon we'll get this bloody thing out and we'll go for it. It's been in there boiling for about 5 minutes. I reckon that's plenty enough. If not, then I guess we'll fucking see what happens. Starts growing a bit of mold in there, then we'll know exactly what's going wrong, won't we? All right. Okie doke. Let's do this. Whoa! Yeah, that was hot. Just in case you don't know, I had a couple of bourbons this afternoon while we've been chilling out, so yeah, it's always a good thing. I don't drink that much, but I do enjoy them when I have them. And it's Christmas. Come on, you got to have a couple of quiet drinks, don't you? There we go. There we go. Just getting the last of that out. Boom, 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 boom. Hey. Right on. Ding, ding, round 3. Here we go. I'll top that right up with plenty of liquor. There we go. And there's a tiny, tiny little bit left in there. I'm going to tip that down the sink. We're done with that. That's fine. And let's see, what have we got here? Let's run the knife around the edges, get the air bubbles out as much as we can. All right, well, that's bubbling its head off. Cool. Rightio, there we go, 7 jars. Not a bad afternoon's work. Well, it's taken us pretty much since about 11 o'clock. Now, what's the time now, mate? About 5?
4:36.
4:36.
4:37.
And by the time we boil all these up, that's another hour from boiling. Just to make sure we're sealed up. Just pot a quick rinse. All right. Here we go. Righto. So, let's get our alfoil base. We'll stick it in the bottom of the pot. We'll load these jars into there. I don't think we're going to get them all in, but anyway, we'll give it a red hot crack. Whoop. Nah, we're going to have to do 2 cooks on this one, I reckon. There we go. We'll only fit 4 of those half-litre ones in. You come and have a look, mate. There you go. Have a quick gander in there. So we've got 4 of those big ones in. We're going to have to do 2 boils on this. That's all right. Not a problem. All right, the next thing we want to do is fill the pot. Fill the pot to, I like to go at least 1 inch or 3 centimetres over the top of these jars. Just so when it starts boiling, you know, there's plenty of room to get that air out, seal those jars. Normally about an hour is about all it takes. It's about the longest I do it for. It's not meat, so we don't have to go heating it up to, you know, crazy levels. Alrighty, there we go. So we've got 4 of these and that one last jar in my pot on the stove as we speak. So you saw us setting that up. I poured the pots that I used for sterilising the jars, the water that was in those pots into there. So we've got nice hot water. It won't take long to come up to the boil. We'll turn it down to a gentle boil or simmer, and we'll let that go for an hour after that, all right? So we'll bring you back when this first lot's coming out. We'll get this second lot in, and we'll show you some finished product pretty soon. Well, this is it. This is the end game. This is our end product right here. That's the first lot of cans we put in. I've come out about 5 minutes ago. I've got the last 2 cans in now. All the suction lids are starting to suck down, which means they're sealed. We'll let those cool overnight, and then we'll put them in the pantry for about 6 weeks, and then they'll be ready to eat. So anyway, it seems a bit fiddly. It seems like a bit of mucking around, but trust me, when you're eating the food that you grow and you preserve yourself, no better feeling than that. You know, you can share it with your friends and family. you know, get other people into growing their own veggies, growing their own food as well. We have much more we want to do, but it's just a time, money, and energy scenario. But we'll get there. So look, if you like what you're seeing today, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you can get our shows as they come up. And look, we'll see you again soon. If we don't see you before Christmas, have a great Christmas, everyone, everywhere. Be safe, and see you next year. Cheers.